Hello, Mitchell Japp here, Research and Extension Manager with SaskBarley. Here talking about seeding rates. It's getting a little bit on the later side. It's a bit middle of May, but there's still time to put some barley in the ground. You know, we've got an article on our website. It went out in our e-newsletter here a month or two ago. So just building on that, wanted to work through a couple examples with you and talk about those seeding rates. So with malt barley, pretty clear research suggests around 300 live seeds per meter squared, which ended up being an established plant stand somewhere in the range of about 220 plants per square meter. That in square feet, so live seeds, that's 28 live seeds per square foot, or 20 plants per square foot. And so if you're targeting that, that's a good amount. With feed barley, the research is not as established on feed barley, so I think it's still a reasonable target based on the malt rate, but can vary a little bit depending on where your area is and what your agronomic program is like. So working through a couple examples. So calculating out pounds per acre of barley. If you're going with a target plant stand, you take your plants per square foot that you're targeting, multiply that by your 1,000 kernel weight in grams, and divide that by your survival. Survival is a combination of the germination and expected mortality of the seeds in the ground. Typically, we would see additional mortality over and above the germination of 5 to 20% in cereals like barley. And then you have to divide all that by 10.4. Working through an example for that seeding rate, if we were to take that target of 20 plants per square foot, and for example, a 50 gram 1,000 kernel weight, which is kind of in a normal range for barley, say survival of 85%, so that'd be 0.85, and divide that by 10.4, we'd end up with a target seeding rate of 113 pounds per acre. Now, the challenge is, if you're thinking about this just in that pounds per acre, you want to seed about 2 bushel per acre, is understanding that there's a pretty wide range of 1,000 kernel weights out there. So that can vary by location, so by your field, by the variety, and even by the year. So you even on one farm growing that same variety year after year, there will be some variation in 1,000 kernel weight. And so just as an example, pull the 1,000 kernel weights out from the regional variety trials going in the ground this year. And we had a couple at the low end, a couple at the high end, so they're a really wide range. So we had as low as 37 grams 1,000 kernel weight for a couple varieties, and as high as about 60 grams 1,000 kernel weight. So if we work that through backwards and say, okay, our normal seeding rate is 2 bushel an acre. We expect to see 85% of those emerge. And if we take that at the low end, 1,000 kernel weight of 37 grams, we end up with pretty nice target plant stand of about 23 plants per square foot. That is right in that range of where it should be at. But at that upper end of the range, at 60 grams of 1,000 kernel weight for that barley, and it's sticking with that 2 bushel an acre, 85% emergence, you're down as low as 14 plants per square foot, which is well below what the recommended seeding rate is for barley. So taking the time, getting the 1,000 kernel weight, getting the seeding rate calculated, and making the adjustments will help get the established plant stand.